Most people believe they control their lives, yet they hand over the remote control of their emotions to everyone else. A single insult, a missed call, or a small mistake can turn you into a puppet of your own reactions. Are you truly the master of your mind, or are you just a slave to the triggers of the world? Meet David, a culinary genius known to the world as the Whirlwind, a man who cooked with fire and fury. His talent was undeniable, but his temper was a ticking time bomb waiting for the wrong moment to explode violently. Perfection was his only standard, and he believed that fear was the only tool to extract excellence from his team. He did not realize that while he was mastering the flavors, he was slowly becoming a slave to his own anger. This is the story of how a king lost his crown in a single night and how he found himself. The night the most important food critic in the city arrived, the air in the kitchen became thick with tension. A young chef, trembling with anxiety, made a tiny mistake, adding just a pinch more salt than the recipe required. David tasted it, and the imperfections triggered a rage so deep it blinded him to the reality of the situation. He unleashed a torrent of insults right there in the open kitchen, humiliating her in front of the entire staff. The critic saw not a genius, but a tyrant. He stood up, left the restaurant, and took David's reputation with him. The next morning, the headlines destroyed his career. It wasn't about the food anymore. It was about the toxic man. His wife, tired of walking on eggshells around his explosive temper, packed her bags and left him alone in silence. In just 24 hours, David had lost his career, his reputation, and the love of his life to his anger. He realized he had been holding on to a burning coal to throw at others, but he was the one burned. Desperate to escape the noise of his failure, he sought refuge in the most isolated place he could find on the map. He packed his bags and boarded a ferry, leaving the ruins of his empire behind to find silence and sanity. The island was wild and windy, home to an old lighthouse keeper named Elias, who lived in harmony with the storms. David watched Elias working calmly while the ocean roared and the wind howled around them, seemingly undisturbed by the chaos. David asked him, "How can you stand this noise and danger every single day without losing your mind completely?" The old man looked at David with eyes as deep as the ocean and smiled, putting down his paintbrush. He said, "The storm outside cannot sink the ship unless the water finds a way to get inside the hull. Your anger is the same. The world can scream at you, but it only destroys you if you let it in." David stood silent. For the first time, he realized he had been sinking his own ship with every reaction he made. The next day, Elias handed David a small mirror and gave him a strange instruction that would change his perspective. He told David to smash the mirror against the rock. David hesitated, then threw it down, shattering the glass completely. Elias asked him to look into the broken pieces. "Tell me, what do you see in the shards on the ground?" David looked down and replied, "I see myself, but I am torn apart, distorted, and ugly in these broken pieces." Elias nodded. "When you react instantly in anger, your mind becomes like this broken mirror. You cannot see the truth. You only see a distorted version of reality, shaped by your fear and your ego, not by what is actually happening." He then taught David the most powerful rule of the mind. Between the stimulus and your response, there is a space. If you can claim that space for just 6 seconds, you move from reacting like an animal to responding like a human. Reaction is instinct. It is survival. Response is intelligence. It is choice. You must learn to choose your path. David began to practice. He sat for hours, learning to pause, to breathe, and to find that 6-second gap. It was not easy. The old habits were strong, but the desire for peace was stronger. He kept finding the silence. Elias watched him struggle and grow, knowing that the hardest lesson was yet to come, the lesson of the mud. One morning, Elias took a beautiful diamond from his pocket. It caught the light, shining with pure, unblemished clarity. Without warning, he threw the precious gem into a deep, dirty puddle of mud. "Find it," he commanded David. David frantically dug his hands in, churning the water. The more he searched, the cloudier and darker the water became. Elias stopped him. "Stop struggling. The diamond is the truth, and the mud is your chaotic emotions clouding your vision. The more you thrash around in your anger, the less you can see. You must stand still and let the mud settle. As they waited in silence, the water cleared. The diamond revealed itself, shining just as brightly as before, untouched by the dirt. David realized that clarity comes from stillness, not from force. He was finally ready to face his own storm. David returned to the city, not to reclaim his old life, but to build a new one based on his new strength. He opened a modest bistro. No shouting, no fear, just good food and a calm atmosphere. But the test was coming. His old rival, the man who took his place at the top, came to visit, hoping to provoke the famous whirlwind. He insulted the food, mocked the decor, and tried to humiliate David in front of his new customers. The room went silent. Everyone waited for the explosion. David felt the heat rise in his chest, the old familiar fire. But David closed his eyes. 1, 2, 3. He felt the anger, acknowledged it, and then let it float away. 4, 5, 6. He opened his eyes, and instead of screaming, he offered his rival a genuine, calm smile. He brought out a complimentary dessert and said softly, "Thank you for coming. I hope this sweetens your day a little." The rival was speechless. His weapon of provocation had failed. He had no power over a man who would not fight. David realized that by refusing to react, he had stripped his enemy of all power. He had won without throwing a punch. In that moment, David understood that true freedom is not controlling others, but having complete mastery over your own inner world. The old David would have ruined the night. The new David turned a moment of hostility into a moment of grace. He remembered Elias's words, "The storm is only dangerous if you let the water in." David was finally watertight. Be like the rock in the river. Let the insults and the chaos flow around you, but never let them move you. David didn't just cook. He taught his team the art of the 6-second gap, creating a kitchen of peace and excellence. His food tasted better than ever because it was infused with love and focus rather than stress and bitterness. Success returned to him, but he no longer defined himself by stars or reviews. He defined himself by his peace of mind. He even rebuilt the bridge with his wife, showing her that the man she loved had finally returned from the war. We all have a lighthouse inside us, but often the windows are covered with the mud of our reactive emotions. Don't let the world drive your car. Don't let a stranger's bad day become your bad day. Keep the remote control. Next time you feel the heat rising, remember the 6 seconds. Take the pause. Let the mud settle before you act. You are the master of your storm. You cannot control the weather, but you can always control the ship you sail. True power is not the loudest voice in the room. It is the calmest mind in the midst of chaos. Reclaim your power today. Stop reacting to the noise and start responding to the life you actually want to live. This has been another journey into the human mind. If this story resonated with you, share it with someone who needs peace. Don't forget to subscribe to Mindset Saga for more stories that transform your perspective and help you master your life. Remember, the diamond is always there, waiting beneath the mud. You just have to be still enough to see it shine. Thank you for watching. Stay calm, stay strong, and keep sailing your ship. Until next time, this is Mindset Saga. Check out these other videos to continue your journey of personal growth and mental mastery. See you in the next one. Master your mind, and you will master your world. Goodbye for now, and may your inner ocean always remain peaceful.